you are, Josh. We've missed you. He had a lot to say in a recent interview with Bleacher Report. He starts off talking about next season. He says, you think the NFC East didn't like each other before? This year right here, question mark, there's going to be a lot of fines and maybe some suspensions. This expletive is going to get really ugly on Dez Bryant. Cowboys. For other guys, he probably will do the worst to them because he'll bully them, but you can't bully a bully. I'm assuming he's referring to himself as a bully. And then on how to get inside Odell Beckham's head, he says when people get physical, tough, he acts out. He's a kid. He's a big kid, man. Speaking of kids.
Big kids. We got big kids here. Damian Woody, Teddy Bruschi joining us today. The thing about Josh Norman is he's brutally honest. Did you quibble with any of the things he said there about Odell Beckham, about Dez Bryant? Is he telling the truth?
I think there's some truth in it. I mean, you look at when the Giants played the Vikings last year. I mean, the Vikings were very physical against Odell Beckham, and that's when we saw him like acting out on the sideline. So I think there's some validity to what he's saying. Listen, it's the off season. We'll talk about this in the green room. This is the off season. Guys gonna be talking. I like a guy on edge some. I do. I like a guy who has some edge. All I care about is when we get to the game, get to the season, don't do anything stupid that's going to jeopardize the game. Don't give them an extra 15 yards and then the team capitalize and cost us the game. All the yapping and stuff like that, I'm game.
Yeah, and he's had his share of penalties, let's say that. I mean, this is the highest penalized player in the National Football League last year, and a lot of that's the illegal contact, him getting physical, pass interference, things like that. If I was on his team, that's the type of stuff I'd like him to get rid of. But this type of mentality, this type of mind games that he plays with the wide receivers, I think it's great because it's part of the game out there. It's you and someone else, and you got a lot of space, and there's a lot of psychological warfare that goes on. I played with a great one like Ty Law, and I just know the banter that goes on, how he's playing it right now. I mean, these receivers that he's talking about, I mean, Dez Bryant, Odell Beckham Jr., they're highly volatile themselves. Yeah. And if Josh gets in their head now and has them thinking, because although it's May, this is going to be brought up. This is going to be, if he doesn't, if I'm sure he'll say something else by the time the game comes, but these comments will be rehashed. They'll be asked their opinions on it, and maybe they get themselves so up in a tither by the time they get to that line of scrimmage, he's already won. It's a little bit of the game you got to play as a cornerback sometimes.
Well, I mean, I guess there's two ways to look at it. He's either in their head or maybe they're amped up enough that they go out and have a huge game against him as well. I mean, does it usually play out that way?
That's where you got to have the confidence that he has the ability to back up the talk.
And the funny thing is he can't hide.
Yeah.
See, that's the one, the cornerback is one of those few positions where the spotlight is going to be on you. Everyone is going to know if you play good, if you didn't play good. So
it's called ISO camera.
That's it. It's going to be there. It's going to be right there. It's going to be right there. So when you have all this talking that he's doing, listen, as a former player, I love it. I love trash talk. But you better believe when the cameras come on, everybody's going to be looking at Josh Norman. So let's just hope. Let's just see if he can hold up his end of the bargain.
What did you think? Seeing him last year, a lot of people talked when he came over from the Panthers. Maybe their scheme was sort of helped his kind of game. They played a little bit differently in Washington. What did you think of him last year as a Redskin?
Well, in terms of turning into that physical player that can put your hands on somebody, that can lock down and play man-to-man, he's up for the challenge. Not only by his words, but from what I saw, especially the battles between him and Dez. He's talking about Dez being a bully. You can't bully the bully. That means we're both physical players, so that stuff doesn't work on me. But the way he uses his length, his hand placement in that article, he also talked about the breastplate, where he likes to get those hands in. Yes, he can be that physical lockdown man-to-man corner if he has to. He can do that also. So this is a cornerback that isn't just that zone scheme press and then safety over the top. He is someone that also is up for the challenge to play one-on-one versus the best in the business.
Now, I don't know about Odell Beckham, because that's a totally different wide receiver. He's, this is a guy, he's kind of slithery at the line of scrimmage, plus he has elite speed. That's one thing that Josh Norman doesn't have. And we saw in the past how many times did Josh Norman got behind, how many times Odell Beckham got behind Josh Norman. So those are two different wide receivers that he's going up against.
Okay.
As long as he doesn't get out of control. And the comments in this article, the borderline out of control comments, sort of, I can't believe you're talking about there's going to be blood and all of this and all of that. Some profane language in there also.
Profanities.
However, just keep it under wraps, still do your job, just don't get out of control, like what he's talking about, those 15-yard penalties we don't want to see. Over-aggressive, you get a pass interference once in a while, all right, once in a while, not 19-plus penalties like he had last year, and you can say all you want.
By the way, just so Alshon Jeffrey doesn't feel left out, Alshon joining up with the Eagles, he